So for a lot of you OGs on the channel, you'd know that I've been holding NIO for quite a while now, and for the course of 2021, as you can probably tell if you're in the stock or you've just been following along with the stock, that you know it's been a pretty year. Well, despite this, I've tried to take advantage of the current stock price, and not only am I still adding to my current position, over the past couple of months or so, I've started to buy into a new fund by Granite Shares known as 3x long NIO, or ticker symbol 3LIP. Isn't this romantic? Before we get into that though, if you are wondering what my current position in NIO is looking like, I currently hold 320 shares at an average price of $47.85, at which at the moment our current return is 34% down. Since I opened my current position with them, which was roughly about November 2020, I'm yet to sell any of the stock, and all I've done is continue adding on the dips, which just seems to be all the time at the moment. And I'm sure just off the back of this last year, a lot of you are probably wanting to get out of the stock as soon as it has another run. But to quickly state and be completely transparent, I'm not going to be selling any of my NIO stock for the near future. I've said this in previous videos before, but I'm saying it again. Overall, sometimes it's nice to look at the daily fluctuations of what the stock is doing. But overall, if I was to be getting out of the stock, I would be looking at least 2025 and onwards. How I see it is any money that I've put in the stock now, I don't need in the near future. And for that whole period of time, I'm still going to try and grow my position up until the point where I think it's time to pull it out and maybe take a little bit less risk. Anyway, before we get into the video, I'd really appreciate it if you left the like button blue. It would really help me out a lot. Anyway, let's get into the video. So what is this NIO X3 fund? Basically, if you want to know, you can find this out on the Granite Shares website, which is the company that basically lists all these funds. Part of the product description, it says that Granite Shares 3x long NIO daily ETP is a collateralized exchange traded product. The ETP tracks, excluding fees and other adjustments, the performance of the daily leveraged 3x long NIO index that seeks to provide the 3 times the daily performance of the NIO shares. So for example, if NIO rises by 1% over a day, then it will rise by 3%, excluding fees and other adjustments. However, if NIO falls by 1% over a day, then the ETP will fall by 3%. Then it goes on to say that it's available in USD, Euro, Great British Pounds, and more. Now for my case, I currently own this on the London Stock Exchange, so obviously it's measured in pence. And also because NIO is on the New York Stock Exchange, then for my case, I'm sort of flipping between the 2 different stock exchanges. But I have been able to use this to my advantage, which you'll see in a moment. But if you weren't just interested in NIO, Granite Shares also offer their services for other big tech companies in America, such as the likes of Tesla, Nvidia, Alphabet, Facebook, and also some of the blue chip stocks in the UK, the likes of Barclays, Lloyds, BP, and Shell. And obviously, if you can have a fund that's long on a company, then obviously you can have a short, for those of you who really like the short stocks. Well anyway, if you like volatility and something that's even more than a volatile stock than NIO, then you're in luck. What I would say is that the risk on this is much higher just because of that volatility, and before you know it, you could be down quite a lot just within a short space of time, and especially with what we've had with NIO. Now, not only did I want to buy into this just because of the fact that I wanted to take advantage of the current price of the NIO stock, there's actually one other key factor that made me buy into this. And the reason is that it's in fact listed within the ISA account on Trading 212. That's right, for you lot that know the importance of your ISAs and the overall benefit that the fact that you don't pay any taxes on any of your profits, and obviously you're capped at depositing £20,000 a year, but that doesn't mean you're capped on your profits. And for those of you who are currently in the stock or are thinking of getting into it, obviously you'd know by the fact that NIO stock can only be invested within the invest account. So in some ways, by investing in this Granite Shares fund, you're not investing into the actual company, but obviously it is going against the actual stock itself. So I kind of think of this as a little loophole within the system in investing in NIO in the ISA account, kind of. So anyway, as for my position, between both accounts I currently hold a total of 7,548 shares, of which equates to an invested value of £11,000. Well, I can safely say it's currently not worth £11,000. If I go back in time a bit, I started buying into this fund back in November of last year, of which I started with a value of about £6,000. This was during a period where NIO was within the $30 range, and I managed to keep buying and selling and riding it up all the way till it was in the 40s. And for this period of time, I roughly turned over a profit of about £4,000, of which at the time I was reinvesting all of my profits. So then at the point I went from a £6,000 invested value to then a position worth over £10,000. What my aim was with this position was the fact just to basically swing trade it and basically look at it as a short-term play. Like I said, I was reinvesting my profits all the way over to £10,000 in value, and then from that point onwards I was then going to keep that £10,000 in there as a minimum, and then any profits I'd make over that I would then reinvest into my other positions within my ISA account. At the time I was taking advantage of the fact that both the stock itself and this fund were listed across 2 different exchanges, and I sort of made up a strategy where I'd look at the pre-market fluctuations of the NIO stock, and as well as reading up on news to see if there was any potential catalyst to basically work out if the stock was going to perform well or not on the day, and that would determine whether or not I buy into the 3x long NIO fund before the US market opened, and of which where the 2 markets overlapped within the time. And for all you lot that are watching in the UK, obviously the US market opens at 2:30 at the moment for us, and the UK market closes at 4:30. So I had this small gap within that period of time where I could see where the 3x long NIO fund would be most volatile because of the opening of the US market. But all this profit fluctuated on days where I'd make a couple £100 within minutes, but then one of my largest days I made over £1,600, which was a massive shock to me at the time because it's more than I make on a monthly wage. However, if I was to hold this until the end of 2022, I'm kind of hoping that the stock will at least recover and be at least within the $50–$60 range. But if we had anything to go by, and I went by the stock forecast on CNN, currently the analysts on there have got a 12-month median price target of $58.33 a share. Well, if I incorporated this into the 3x long fund, if NIO was to hit $58.33, it would be just under £30,000, being approximately $40,000. But in my opinion, and especially off the back of the last year we've had, I think $58, even though it would be really nice considering the position we're in now, I think this is a pretty bare estimate for what it could actually be. Some analysts predict that the stock would be well over $80 a share by the end of the year, and if that were the case, my 3x long position would then be a value of just over £47,000, or near enough $60,000. And if you were to be extremely bullish on the stock, and a lot of people have said this for a while, and when it will hit $100 a share, personally I don't think it will for at least a good 2 years, but if these ET5 deliveries shock everyone and they move to the US sooner than a lot of people think, and let's just say the stock did move up to $100 a share, I'd then be looking at a total value just on my 3x long position of £59,840, which is roughly $81,000. One thing I quickly forgot to mention is that there are some small fees when buying this. You can have a look at these on the website, but for example on the website there's an ongoing cost of 0.0177%. So even though it is very minuscule, that it still actually exists. And also I've noticed every time I make a brand new position, I'm usually down roughly between 1 to 2% off the back of buying the position. You might think this is due to volatility, but it looks like I am down that rougher percentage when I do hit my average price. So I can only assume this is a small fee for when you make a new position or just when buying into it. But if any of you lot did actually have a small explanation to what this may be, I'd be greatly appreciated if you left a comment. Anyway guys, overall this, I would 100% recommend doing your own research before you risk your money anywhere. The sake of this video was just to show what my current investments are like. Just because I buy into them doesn't mean that you should too. I'm by far no way an expert, and nothing in this video is financial advice. Anyway guys, I'm going to end the video there. If you did enjoy the video, then please leave the like button blue down below, and I'll see you lot in the next one. In a bit. Now, if we were going to look at the price of